Welcome to the MS&Me Radio Network, a division of the Multiple Sclerosis Global Support Network. The following program broadcast is an original creation by the broadcast entity. Discussion within the following broadcast should be used for informational purposes only and is not a substitute for professional medical advice or consultation. Before considering application of any broadcast content in the following program, please consult your healthcare provider. If you feel you are having a medical emergency, please contact your local health services for immediate assistance. MS&Me Media and the Multiple Sclerosis Global Support Network do not guarantee or warrant the accuracy of information in the broadcast to follow. The Multiple Sclerosis Global Support Network provisions broadcast services to program hosts. Information discussed in the broadcast does not necessarily reflect the views, opinions, or goals of the network and are solely those of the show broadcast host. Should you wish to host a broadcast, please visit our website at msmemedia.com and submit a request to become a program host. We thank you for listening to the MS&Me Radio Network. Enjoy the show.
Hi, this is Dawn Melanie. Today, I welcome you to the third episode of my series, Managing Self with Multiple Sclerosis. Today's title, Just Do It When You Can. Being a 19th year MSer, I've learned that people have often heard just do it, but they don't understand that for someone living with multiple sclerosis, we are often limited and restricted by what we can do, when we can do it, if we can do it at all. So I often live by, I guess, a motto of just do it when I can, if I can. First of all, I'd like to say that, today I'll be talking about how I just do it as far as managing MS and living, I guess, life to the fullest. And I understand that everybody's different. No two of us are similar with our experiences, with our successes, with our failures of dealing with MS. So I just want you to know that I understand that if there's something that I do that you're not able to do, it's totally understandable, because there's things that I'm sure you all can do that I can't do. Okay, anyway, so what do I do when I can, or whatever? I was talking to a friend, and she actually gave me the idea for this series, or for this episode. She said, she noted that I'm all about food, fitness, and fun. And I said, yeah, that's kind of all right. It's interesting because no one looks at me and go, oh yeah, you have MS, or yeah, you're a multiple sclerosis girl. They look at me and they either think, oh gosh, she's eating again, she's cooking again, she's working out, she's doing something, or she's just kind of having fun, enjoying life, either with my husband, or with my parents, or with friends. So food, fitness, and fun is things that I do when I can do them. I never say that I can just do what I want to, because I do have MS. And so some of you have, well, most of you have probably heard the saying, I have MS, it doesn't have me. This is true for myself. I have MS, it doesn't have me. However, there are pretty much every instance in my life where MS affects what I do. It doesn't just make me stop, but it does maybe alter how I approach it and things like that. I'll start with my fitness. Speaking to a friend that I met on social media, and Sandra is her name, and she asked me, she's like, wow, you do so much, how do you do it? She sent me a video of a 71-year-old bodybuilder, female bodybuilder, and I said, you know what, I have a very similar schedule. She works out, or she runs like for an hour or so, and then she lifts weights for about 2 hours. And I said, that's pretty much my schedule as well. I can't run, and unfortunately with MS, my ability to lift my legs up to run is not there anymore, but I do walk. Every visit I go to the gym, I try to walk, and I walk at least a 5K, which is 3.1 miles. And I do that about 5 to 6 days a week. So I do walk. I do lift weights. I'll lift weights from anywhere from 1.5 hours to 2 hours. Some people say that's so long, but what they may not understand is because of my MS, my ability to engage in such a physical activity is restricted. I just can't go in and hit it like I used to, maybe I want to say maybe 15 years ago. So I still get it done, but I get it done at my pace. I know my limitations and things like that. I know if I lift too much, I'll get the old MS shaky leg. I can also start to feel a little dizzy, and my balance and coordination declines, and I risk a fall. So these are ways that I get my workouts done, even though I have MS, but I still do what I can when I can. So like I said, fitness, I go to the gym about 5 to 6 days a week. I'll work out anywhere from 2 to 3 hours a day, both walking and lifting weights, again when I can. Food. How do I just do it for food? Well, if you know me, you know that I eat a lot, I cook a lot, and I understand that this doesn't just happen instantaneously or at the snap of my fingers. Often takes a lot of prep and things like that. So I'll often cook food or prepare food the night before, or sometimes even days in advance. And that kind of behavior I picked up, or I guess I developed when I was competing in figure competitions. We always had to have our food. We needed this food every 3 hours, this other food every 3.5 hours, and so I'm used to prepping and making food available. So today, I'm still dealing with multiple sclerosis, and I'm still hungry all the time because I'm active. So what I do for my breakfast is I prepare the bulk of the food. I think about 75% of my food is actually prepared before the morning. The bacon I bake in the oven. I'll bake a pack of bacon in the oven, and that way I can take 2 or 3 slices and put them in the toaster oven to heat up. It works great on warm. My waffles, I like waffles in the morning. I can make the waffles again. I can reheat them in the oven, in the toaster oven, on a warm setting. They're crispy and taste fresh again. The eggs, I like scrambled eggs, so what I'll do is crack the eggs, scramble them, season them, things like that, and that way they're actually ready to go into the pan in the morning. All you gotta do is put some butter in the pan, put it in, scramble them, while my bacon and waffles are heating up. I'm making the eggs, and breakfast takes minutes as opposed to some very long production in the morning, where I could be using my energy to get ready for the day. The same thing occurs for dinners. Last week, I'll just think about what we had for dinner last week. Tried to go with a different theme every night. We had stir fry one night, went Italian one night, had spaghetti and meat sauce. I think another dish we had chicken and mushrooms, and Taco Tuesday. So yeah, I believe I cooked dinner Monday through Thursday. I think that's about generally how my body dictates. When I say my body dictates, that's when I have the energy to be in the kitchen making dinner on my feet and things like that. Not only did the I guess dinners, the homemade dinner stop by Friday, but so did the breakfast, and it kind of makes sense. I mean, I guess I would assume most of you out there understand that having MS, that our energy kind of is cyclical. My energy in particular is cyclical. It's high in the earlier part of the day. It declines pretty much a steady rate throughout the rest of the day. As far as the week is concerned, my energy is good on beginning of the week. Wednesday, I generally, some people call it hump day. My hump day is, I don't know if it's a hump day, to get over it. I guess it doesn't have to get over it, but I hit a very low slump on Wednesday. And this Wednesday, actually, I crashed pretty early. I think I fell asleep before 10 o'clock. And I slept. I had a very good night's sleep. I slept over 10 hours. And 10 hours is my happy time. I say, what's your ideal sleep? Mine is 10 hours. The summer months, I've been sleeping about 8 to 9 hours I can sleep. But 10 hours is still what my body does best at. So, like I said, my homemade meals kind of came to a standstill as the week progressed. But, as far as what I did for food as well, I can still have meals out. Speaking of meals out, many of you may know that my favorite meal out to have is my Pizza Friday, or shall I say my Pizza Friday with my husband. We tend to probably 85-90% of the times go out for pizza on Friday. A couple times we'll stay in if the weather's bad or if I'm a little tired. Better to just kind of rest some days. But it's a scheduled meal, so I don't consider it a cheat meal ever. My Pizza Friday kind of, it's relaxing. I don't have to cook. There's no cleanup. There's no preparation. We just take it out of the box and put it on some plates and eat it. So Pizza Friday is kind of a relaxing time for the two of us. It's at the end of the week, Friday. On Fridays, I'm kind of back to my, I want to say slump, but I have less energy on Fridays, similar to Wednesdays. So I'm kind of cyclical with the a lot of energy beginning of the week, very low midweek, kind of get back up there, and by the weekend, I'm kind of fizzled out again. So Pizza Friday is what we do to have fun and eat and just kind of allow me to not be so down on having MS. It's a treat. Other treats that I do schedule as far as, and I don't want to cook, is if I go to the gym and if I haven't cooked breakfast, I'll have a kale veggie burger or maybe bacon, egg, and cheese croissant or something like that. All these things are things that I do when I don't have the energy to do them myself. I love to cook. I love to get in the kitchen. I love to dirty up about 25 dishes for just like one meal. But when I can't, I give myself permission or allow myself to, take an alternative. I don't want to say an easier route, but a less stressful route. Going out to eat sometimes is less stressful because that's less things that I have to do. Sometimes if I'm busy, if it's later in the day, if it's warm, if I get hot, overheated, I'm tired. And when I'm tired and heated, I have a tendency to drop things. I have a tendency to just be clumsy in general. My stability, my walking is compromised. And the jittery intentional tremors, I still have the intentional tremors with my hands and my legs, primarily my hands, and that makes it the difficulty with the cooking and things like that. So, like I said, I allow myself to go out and have someone else cook for me, and have a wait person that brings me my food where I don't have to get up and get everything. When I'm home, my husband, he's more than happy to do those things for me. Of course, I like to try to do them myself, but that's the benefit of him helping out, is he'll allow me to sit down. He wants me to sit down and rest. That's wonderful. I'm sure I'm not the only one who appreciates that that careful thoughtfulness he has. However, sometimes with knowing that you have these restrictions, we want to just kind of do it ourselves and just kind of be kind of self-sufficient. So even though we want those things, I guess I want you guys to remember it's okay to sit back and relax and let somebody else help you. So with cooking, go at it, have fun. I think it's relaxing, but if you are having an MS moment or just one of those times where your energy level isn't at its peak, don't feel guilty about relaxing. So, as I said, don't feel guilty about taking it easy a day or so. I just want to share my experiences with kind of going out there and making sure that I always have fun. A lot of people, and again, I understand, when your life is kind of turned upside down, you lose control. You're faced with a disease that's technically still uncurable. That can affect your emotions, and depression sets in and things like that. So one thing I try to do to avoid this or mitigate it the best that I can is to make sure fun is always on my agenda. One way I like to have fun, first I'll talk to the ladies out there, is I like to go out, not like go out and dance and party and things like that. I've never have, but I'm still a lady, female, and we like to go out. Sometimes we like to dress up, whether it be a special occasion or just like a special date night with your husband or your significant other. Put on clothes that are, not the everyday frumpy wear that we wear around the house, but put on maybe a dress and even heels. Yeah, high heels. One thing that I started doing, one thing I guess I've never stopped doing is wearing heels. And maybe for about 2 weeks I did. I thought I was going to not wear heels anymore. And this is about 8 years ago when I had drop foot, really bad drop foot. And I was like, wow, I guess I'll never wear heels again. But I managed to kind of get around that by getting canes. I already had probably 3 canes at the time, but I got probably additional 3 or 4 canes, and they were different lengths in different colors to match my outfits. So I have variety in different lengths that correlated to my heel height. So if I wore, a very short 2-inch, 3-inch heel, I had the cane for that. If I wanted to wear something a little quote unquote sexier or a little more daring, with maybe a 4 or 5-inch stiletto, I had the appropriate cane for that. And it was kind of funny. I remember one instance. I went to New Orleans, visited my sister and her husband, and we were in the French Quarter on Bourbon Street. And she's like, "You don't need that cane. You're just doing that because it's cute." And I said, "Oh yeah?" So I hand her my cane, and I go ahead and proceed to take a few steps. And well, it was almost disastrous, but I was smart enough to stop walking as she's like, okay. And she quickly hands it back to me because she sees that, well, okay, it's not a prop. She needs a cane. She's just making it look fun. And I said, exactly, I don't want you to, if you ask why do you have a cane, is it for fashion? I guess I'll say yes and no. Yes, it is for fashion. However, yes, it's also functionality, because at the time I needed it for my stability so I could walk without, as we've heard, looking drunk or just simply falling over. Another instance with the cane that some people just stopped in their tracks and just stared. And, a couple times I said, "What?" And then they opened up and asked, "Why you have a cane?" Just like my sister didn't think that I needed the cane because I had on heels. She saw that. Later that evening, we did the same test again, barefoot, and she saw that I had no better balance or coordination with no heels and without the cane. So she's like, okay, yeah, this is real. I said, yeah, MS is one of those invisible things like that. So again, I wasn't embarrassed. I wasn't ashamed to tell her, explain to her the situation. It was actually good because she started to understand, and she took it upon herself to do independent research on what MS is and how it affects people differently at different stages. The same thing happened to me in the gym. I was working, ironically, legs, probably this leg press machine, and I would set my cane down, and I would, I guess, climb into the apparatus to push the weights, a seated incline position to push the weights out, seated leg press. And a friend, later a good friend, he walks up to me, and at the time I didn't know him. He walks up to me and goes, I don't mean to be, nosy, but why do you have that cane? So I told him, and he just smiled, really, really, really big smile. He was tickled. He thought it was so cute that it's like, seriously? I was like, yeah, seriously. So I went ahead and showed him me without the cane, because he hadn't seen me walk to the apparatus. He just saw me sitting in the apparatus with the cane lying next to me. So he smiled real big. He thought it was cute. And, I said, I wish more people would just go ahead and ask, instead of making assumptions like, what is she doing with the cane? Is she just being silly over there? That was a good experience. Again, kind of just tell. And I told him, I said, hey, I'm in here just like you. I'm trying to get my lifts in. And I later explained to him it was morning or early afternoon, and I told him my energy level's up. I feel good right now. I'm gonna feel worse as the day goes on, and I thought that was very, very, very satisfying that somebody actually took the time to ask questions and learn a little bit about MS and want to learn further, because now we became friends and he knew somebody with MS, and he understood. And again, he was one of those people who understood why I couldn't go out to get a bite to eat after 3 or 4 p.m. I was too tired. It was too hot. That's not going to happen. But I know one thing that will happen is that even though I have MS, I will have fun. I will have fun with my family, with my loved ones, with my friends. I'll continue to work out and have a fit lifestyle to the best of my ability, and I'm going to eat. Food is a passion of mine, and I will eat and I will cook to my heart's content, I guess, in a responsible way, of course. But I'm going to allow myself to have fun and enjoy these things that I like to do, not feel guilty about them, not feel guilty because I can't do these things on anyone else's schedule. My body's schedule is not quite the same as anybody else's. In fact, it's different. And with MS, I have to realize, I do realize that there's adjustments that need to be made. Okay, so as I wrap up today's discussion of just doing it, what you can, when you can, if you can, being someone living with multiple sclerosis, I want to just, again, share my experiences and my perspective on this, issue of managing yourself. I myself, I don't feel guilty if I can't do something. If someone asks, let's go hang out or let's go do this, if I know I'm tired or I know it's going to be later in the day and I don't think I'm going to be up for it, I say no. I give myself permission to say no on these situations, because I know that I can't just do it. There are parameters that I have to be aware of and respect for the well-being of myself. I know that enduring unnecessary stress is not good with MS. Again, I give myself permission to say no. I give myself permission to take it easy. I give myself permission to do nothing if that's my body's dictating that I do nothing. Now, on the other side, when my body wants to do something, I go ahead and do it full steam, or not full steam, but I try to get the most of the situation. The situation usually occurs in the earlier parts of the day, earlier parts of the week. People say, well, how do you have the energy to walk, 5-7 miles a day or something? And I'll say, well, again, I do it when I can, and that's usually the earlier parts of my my cyclical cycle. When I awake, it's going to happen earlier than later. We'll also say, how do you have time to cook all these elaborate meals that I see you posting? Again, I just don't make a 5-course meal in one take. I usually have steps that I take the day before, again, to lessen the stress of me actually preparing the meal for my husband and I. When I lay it all out, that's probably just the final steps and the icing on the cake. Another thing is, well, how do you have time to hang out so much? You seem like you're eating out and doing these things, which seem fun and it's hot. Well, I don't spend very much time out in the direct sunlight. I'm either inside into the vehicle, that's cool, and to the place where I'm going. The other thing is I'll take a nap or take it easy before I go out to maybe even eat. That way I won't be so lethargic at dinner. So I know my body, and I know its limitations. I know that I want to have fun. I know that I'm going to eat. I know that I want to have a fit lifestyle. And I manage myself to make sure these things happen for me. So again, guys, just do it when you can, what you can, if you can, or shall I say just do it, or shall I say do it, period. Thank you for listening, and I appreciate it.